Morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it may be for you, doesn't really matter because addiction and recovery is 24/7. I am Wyatt with Rise and Renew Recovery. This is my channel that is devoted towards talking all things recovery because addiction does not discriminate. However, recovery is possible for anyone that wants it and is willing to work at it. Today I want to go ahead and I want to talk about a big ticket item in recovery and big potential for a downfall, and that is complacency. Complacency can come easy when things get good. Maybe you got a new job and your relationship improved and you're feeling confident about things. Things just started getting better once you got sober and started making steps towards different things. And then all of a sudden that thought can just start to come in your head like, maybe I'm fixed. Maybe now that blank, things will be different. I'll be able to enjoy whatever substance it is responsibly. Your mind will start to play tricks on you for that dopamine release, that trigger, making you reminisce on the good times or the good feeling that you had from the substance. And you can, in a sense, forget or minimize all the bad that happened. Or once again, just state, now that I'm at this point in my life, things will be different, things are better. So I should be able to enjoy it responsibly, right? That is something that I have talked to countless addicts about now in recovery. Something that a lot of them have talked about being a huge downfall during their recovery journey. People that I've talked to that had 25 years plus sober, they said one of the biggest things is not to become complacent with your recovery. That's why recovery is so important, because it'll keep you humble and it'll remind you of how bad things can be and everything you can lose. You need to be reminded that all the good things that have come or are coming into your life are all there because of your sobriety. And you must not forget that. It's crucial. So my friends, in regards to complacency, I want to go ahead and share a personal story, a story of my own. My anecdotal story of being complacent. So just to give a little background, I was sober for about 10 months after getting back-to-back DUIs. Yeah, that's how bad my recovery was, or my addiction was. So about 10 months into my recovery, I had a 6-figure job. I was in charge of the #1 property in all the state of Colorado. I got engaged. I had a nice car. Most of my relationships were good. There were still some that, needed work, but I was feeling good. I was feeling confident in myself. And it was really the first time in as long as I could remember where I actually felt like whole in a sense. And it was like a strange sensation, like waking up and just feeling okay or good. And that had slowly built up over those months of just being sober. And the thing was, I wasn't during that time really working a recovery program. I did some IOP, which is intensive outpatient, which was like 3 nights a week, or like group meetings, stuff like that. But after a couple months, I wasn't doing anything. I was feeling good, didn't have any cravings, so I figured, why would I spend my time when I could be spending on other things and devote time to recovery or going to AA or group meetings, whatever. So as time went on, it kind of started to fade. Uh, all the bad memories and times that I had, like, yes, I could remind myself in a sense, but I was so confident in how I was doing in life and where I was at, and it being the first time in however long I could remember that I was feeling good. I was like, I'm fixed, I'm cured. I All the times before when I was drinking to cope with life, cope with myself, because I didn't love myself and I didn't like where I was at in life. And so with that, I was out at a work conference down in Dallas, and in a social gathering, large social gathering. Most of the people, if not everyone that I was encountering, was drinking, and it came across my mind like, I could probably handle a couple drinks type thing, and I had a little bit of hesitation, but then I just kind of said, I can handle this. So I drank that night. And being that my tolerance obviously was shot, I didn't drink a lot. I had like 4 or 5 drinks, which to maybe a normal person is a lot, but to an addict, I was drinking 20, 30 drinks before in my full-blown addiction, so that wasn't a lot. And next morning I woke up, pretty sure I still had a little bit of alcohol in my system, and I went right to drinking at that event. Like, we had conferences and stuff in that morning, and I went off to the liquor store, bought seltzers, and put them in like a water bottle, like a sparkling water bottle, to be like discreet about it. But it was like just like that. I was basically back to square one. Not fully, I guess, to square one, but with my drinking behavior, because that next morning I craved it. So I drank that whole day. I don't know how much I drank, probably 15 to 20 drinks. I ended up having to go up to the hotel room at 7 p.m. and I puked my brains out for a couple hours, and then I passed out on the bathroom floor. Another property director that I was staying with, he was kind enough, kind of like took care of me, got me some Pedialyte type stuff and stuff for nausea. But it was a very crappy night. It was to the point where I woke up the next morning and I couldn't even drink because, like, the alcohol poisoning, like the after, the effects after, because my body had not been saturated with alcohol like that in quite some time. So I didn't drink anymore. And I went to go visit my parents in Phoenix. I went directly from the conference to Phoenix, and I didn't drink while I was there. So I was like, oh, look at that. Like, I drank even though I got sick. It's like I negate the fact that I drank till I puked my brains out. But the fact that I didn't keep drinking after that made me think that I was in control of alcohol then. So fast forward a few weeks, I start slowly having a drink or a couple drinks every now and then. And it just slowly became more and more frequent until it was becoming a real problem. It was getting to the point where on the weekends, I would drink a dozen drinks or whatever, and then the next day I would be in bed, not feeling good type thing. And with that, my life was still quote unquote manageable. My fiance definitely wasn't happy because she's seen the worst of me with alcohol. So it was almost like I was having an affair on her with alcohol, in some sense. And she said it, and that's how I felt. But fast forward, so like I said, things were quote unquote, manageable. Life was still moving on, not any, big harm, repercussion, damage that had happened yet from alcohol. And then around the 4th of July hit, I had a bad incident that happened at my property, and made national news. And all of a sudden, it's like I didn't know how to cope with life. I had gone through some tough stuff before that. Like I had to go to jail for my DUI, and I didn't drink at all. Like going up to that, not knowing how long I was gonna get in jail, which I ended up getting 10 days, and just going through some other tough stuff over the prior year. But it's like all of a sudden, I just like forgot how to like cope with it. So I directly went to the bottle. I got a bottle of Tito's. I crushed it that day, a 7.5 of Tito's, and it just went on. The next day, the day after that, it went on for, I literally couldn't stop. Like as weird as it sounds, I felt like I was gonna die if I stopped. So I kept drinking, even though I knew that this wasn't gonna end well. So it lasted like 10 days, to the point where, and this is the toughest part. My fiance, she told me that if I didn't go into treatment, that she was gonna leave. And I didn't go into treatment that night. I wasn't ready. It wasn't my own choice. So I felt like I couldn't do it. And there was also some things with work, like I needed to set up where I was on like a leave of absence for work or something, because I would have been fired from a position I worked hard to get. And so she left. And a few days later, my mom was generous enough to come down to basically watch my dogs and get me to recovery, my mom and my aunt. And so there I was back in a detox center. And we had a wedding planned. We were supposed to get married that fall. We had all these deposits on different things. We had deposits on the venue, the catering service, DJ, photographer, videographer, all that jazz. And we sent out all the invitations. She made all these beautiful save the dates, invitations, things. All of that went in the garbage, just like that, because of complacency. So I got to think about all that in detox, and basically just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life or with my recovery? Like, I need to start taking recovery more seriously. And it was actually in that detox when some of these people came in and was talking about like AA, and when asked what one of their biggest things are that they would say is important for their recovery was not being complacent. And it's so silly, but that's what it clicked with me, is like, I need to like start being more diligent with my recovery. And with that, when I got out, I started going to AA, and my fiance was gone at this time. Like, I felt like I was in the dump. I ruined what was supposed to be a beautiful wedding, broke a girl's heart. Thankfully, I didn't lose my job because it was protected under Disability Act, addiction, stuff like that. But so fast forward, I started working recovery program. I got a sponsor, and with that, I started, just being constantly reminded. And it's, to each their own. I'm not someone that needs to go every single day to be reminded of what addiction can do. I'm more so like a weekly person is my preference, and also what worked for my time with my job and whatnot, my commitment to other things in life. But another thing that came from complacency, so thus far, lost my fiance, broke off a wedding. She did end up coming back, all because I didn't continue to drink. I turned my life around. I got back on the wagon with recovery. But a few months later, I ended up losing my job, my prosperous job that I was so happy and just thrilled and just everything about having that job. And I just felt like good at this point in my life at 29. I felt like it was a great accomplishment to have the job, but I lost that job. I had the regional manager came in one day, and she basically just fired me on the spot. Didn't write me up, anything. And it was basically for some more so bogus reasons of like my punctuality. Even though almost every single day I was either in here early dealing with some dispute, working late, dealing with floods late at night, all that stuff. But yet my assistant did what, in my opinion, worst things. She swore at other employees in front of residents, stuff like that. None of that, got her fired on the spot. That was a call for a write-up. And she ended up getting 2 write-ups because of incidences like that. But for me, I was outright terminated. And to my belief and everyone that I know, and these are in conversations I've had independently, not like collectively all at once. Most people think it's because of my relapse that I had in the summer, and I had to basically abandon my property for a period of 2 weeks, and it was left without a manager. My regional even said after that, like, she lost, or I lost her trust. So then at that point, all because of complacency, I lost my 6-figure job. I lost my fiancé, but I got her back. But the wedding and all that finances were gone. And it brought me to a point where it was like, now what? And, a lot of people, or I shouldn't say a lot, but some people would maybe think, okay, now I'm going to turn to alcohol to cope because this is too unmanageable. And that's how I used to be. But now it's like, I know alcohol is only just going to lead me down a dark rabbit hole, and my life's going to become an actual living hell, not this, small bump that I'm currently going through. It's like I can find another job, type thing, and I still have my health. I still have my family still loves me, all that stuff. So it's like I need to build off that. So without ranting too much more, just think about that. When you think of picking up a drink, and every single person I've talked to thinks that they're going to be different than whatever person. Like you might be thinking watching this, like, oh, you're just weak about the situation. Whatever. If that's how you want to go about it, I can't stop you. No one can stop you. You're in control of your own life. You choose to put up that drink. But every single person that I've talked to and has become complacent and drank ended back up in recovery. They didn't go back out, start drinking, and everything was good. Life was normal. They eventually went back down the same spiral, and things became unmanageable. So with that, a little bit of a different kind of deeper rant with a little bit of a personal story in it. But I think that that's important because it showcases all the good things. Well, it showcases everything that's possible with recovery. Like, all of that was possible because I was sober. None of that would have been possible. I wouldn't have had the good job. I wouldn't have been to the point where I would have got her father's blessing to marry my girlfriend. Wouldn't have had the nice cars, all that jazz. Wouldn't have had any of that without sobriety, and I lost a lot of that due to complacency. So I think it's important to showcase just how quickly and easily you can lose all that you gained. And with that, I've learned that I'll never become complacent again with it. And I hope that from all of this, you can learn to not become complacent either. So if you enjoyed this video or made it to the end, please go ahead and leave a like down below. If you like this kind of content, please check out my other videos. This is still in kind of the early stages of the channel, so don't have too much yet, but I plan on expanding a lot more into other topics in regards to recovery. So go ahead and subscribe if you like it. And yeah, I'll see you next video.